Hey, what's up guys, Cliff here once again and welcome back to Overwatch. Today I would like to take some time to teach you how you can coach yourself. Coaching formats, especially for Overwatch, are all over YouTube and I made a video on that subject once before sharing my opinion. Just to quickly summarize my point of view, I think that coaching, as the YouTubers call it, is a bad, superficial way of trying to teach people how to play. The point of coaching, to me, is not just pointing out what has been done wrong, because making misplays is not the issue. The issue is that the player in question, at the time, thought that their play was the right thing. If you don't talk to them about the underlying reasons as to why their play was wrong, why their idea of that play being right was wrong, and how the execution could have been improved, it's essentially worthless in my eyes. Coaching needs some sort of back and forth. Just looking at gameplay and pointing out misplays is not good enough to effectively help someone improve. You need that person's input. You need to have them tell you why they did the things they did. Otherwise, all you're giving them is a handbook of tips that they feel they have to stick to without ever being able to adapt to their particular match. And that will never make a good player out of them. Gradual improvement, in my opinion, is and will always be the best way to go. Building up experience from your own matches, learning what worked and what didn't is just so very valuable. Learning how to use an ultimate properly is way more effective if you messed it up a few times and remember those moments of when it didn't work, because that's what burns itself into your brain and allows you to make quick decisions subconsciously. I was once in a position where I thought I learned everything there was to learn. I was stuck in Platinum and always blamed my teammates for their lackluster performance, rather than looking to improve myself. It wasn't until I started to review my own gameplay that I learned how much I did wrong. And that is exactly what I want to teach you today, because reviewing your own gameplay is not difficult by any means. All you need is some common sense whilst paying attention to 3 criteria. Number 1, your positioning. You might think, how do I know if my positioning is good? Well, that really is not all that hard to tell. If you stay alive for a long time but don't get to execute your job properly, such as tanking damage, healing, or killing the enemies, then your positioning was subpar. If you die a lot, then obviously your positioning is also not good. What you're looking for is staying alive as long as possible for one thing, and being able to do your job for another. While reviewing your gameplay, take a close look at the moments where you died. Were you caught far in the back while your team pushed in? Well, in that case, you should have probably tried to stick to the rest of your team so you can't get picked off so easily. Were you killed while chasing after a low health enemy and then ran into their respawn teammates? I think now you know that this is not a good idea. Always pay attention to your positioning relative to the rest of your team first and foremost, because one surefire way of getting killed easily is being too far in the back or pushing up too much. It is really as simple as to going through it like this. How did I die? Where did I die? Where was the rest of my team? And where could I have been to avoid that? Number 2, your mechanical skill. This one's really straightforward. While reviewing your gameplay, pay attention to how well you're doing your job. If you're playing an aim-reliant hero, how many crucial shots did you miss? If throughout the entire match you realize that you missed a significant amount of easy shots, then maybe you should have picked up another hero. Obviously, it's important to deliver some level of self-awareness. You gotta be able to call yourself out for being shit if need be. When I first watched myself play McCree, I had to admit to myself that I was horrible. And to this day, McCree's a hero that I only pick up very rarely because I simply can't perform reliably on him. While you always have the option to just practice more, sometimes it makes more sense to look for another hero that suits you more naturally. Something that you perform well on without trying too hard. Because if you build on that foundation, you will improve much more quickly and easily, and by that gain a higher rank as well. Once I discovered that I was a pretty decent Ana and Zen player, I had absolutely no trouble to leave Platinum behind me and get into Diamond back in Season 2, so don't try to force a main on you only because someone said it's a carry hero. Just play whatever suits you best, because that's what's gonna help you make a bigger impact on the outcome of a match. And lastly, number 3, pay attention to opportunities. I'm pretty sure most of us are guilty of thinking something along the lines of, how did you miss that while watching a streamer? Well, reality is that watching gameplay is quite different from actually being in the match, because while you're playing, you're focusing on trying to play the game, while just watching allows you to focus solemnly on looking for what has been done wrong. So just backseat game yourself a bit, give yourself some hyper lulls and debated for missing shots or ignoring a flanking soldier. Pay attention to the things that you missed in the game and opportunities you could have taken, and honestly, make fun of yourself, because then you'll have a a much easier time remembering something you've done wrong. If you're then back in the game and you encounter a similar situation, you'll subconsciously think to yourself, wait, I have seen this before. Last time I used my Deadeye here and it got deflected. Better not do that again. Or you'll think to yourself, last time I didn't drop the beat and everyone ended up dying. Maybe I want to do it right now. We all miss out on opportunities that could have turned the match in our favor on a regular basis, so it's even more important for us to pay attention to them while reviewing our gameplay, since we're no longer occupied with actually playing the game. Just remember that it's not about making a GM player out of you if you're in gold. Something people have to understand is that every division has their own unique flavor of gameplay. It doesn't help you to play in a way that a GM player would call optimal if your teammates are not playing optimally as well. You have to adapt yourself to your current situation. Remember that YouTubers really like to only use their best gameplay as a showcase on their channel. That can easily make people feel like this YouTuber always has good games and they never realize that those were just their top 10% of matches. Don't compare yourself to someone who's playing in an elo that is way above your own. Try to do your best in your current elo. Be flexible and adapt to your own challenges, focusing on improving bit by bit rather than going for big leaps. What matters for all of these things is that you should not be ashamed of doing something wrong, and you shouldn't be looking to reach a state of perfection. Misplays are part of our gameplay experience. We learn from them, and by that they ultimately help us getting better. And as you might know, one is never done learning. So while being almost done with this video, I realized that some people might think this is a tutorial on how to record your own gameplay. While I can't give you a tutorial, here's a quick list of options. If you have an Nvidia graphics card, go to their website and download their GeForce experience. That gives you access to a program called Shadowplay. That allows you to record your own gameplay with little to no impact on your performance. If you have an AMD graphics card, you'll have to do your own research. It's been a long time since I had one of these, but at the time their equivalent was called AMD Gaming Evolve, powered by Raptor, and their recording software was called GVR. If you don't want to mess with either of those, go download OBS. It's a free live streaming and recording software. Set your resolution to 720p and 30 FPS, and don't go too crazy on the bitrate. You don't need a full HD recording to review your own gameplay, since OBS puts a lot of stress on your CPU and it could impact your frame rate significantly. Again, sorry for this not being a full-on tutorial on how to record your gameplay, but I hope that those leads help you figuring it out yourself, as there are tons of tutorials for these programs on the internet. But this is me done for the day, so I talk about how you can coach yourself in Overwatch. If you enjoyed the video, do let me know by dropping me a like on your way out. Subscribe if you want to see more, and hope to see you all next time.
Oh, baited. Zen, oh my god, that was probably the worst play I've ever seen someone do, but it worked out for you.
Listen, it was 100% calculated. I was gonna ride him. I was gonna ride him like a cheap whore, alright?